everybody. Thanks for joining us. Today we have got Kim, who is the Managing Director of Vibe Finance and the founder of the Specialist Finance Academy. And Kim's here today to talk to us about that. So thanks for coming on.
Hi everyone, I'm Kim McGinley. So I set up my brokerage 7.5 years ago, and we only work with investors. So it's all in the unregulated space. If someone handed me a residential regulated deal, I'll be really honest with you, I would not know what to do with it. I just do not come from that background, or haven't come from that background. So I fell into the industry, the mortgage industry, when I was 19 years old. Like with many people, it wasn't my first choice when I left school. So yeah, I did fall into it, but I started working for the lenders pre-2008 in specialist finance. So went through the whole credit crunch, went back and set up their commercial teams. So I've got used to dealing with credit teams, underwriting my own deals from a lending manager perspective, all in relation to bridging, development, buy-to-lets, HMOs, commercial properties. So that is my comfort zone, if I'm honest with you. There isn't really a deal that comes across our desk that we wouldn't do. So yes, and long story short, I think it's having that lending background coupled now with running my own brokerage. And I've run some women events. So last year I ran a women in finance event, and we were sitting around a table, and the ladies, they were pretty much only in the residential regulated space. And so they were like, Kim, we just don't know what to do with these types of deals. And I was like, just reach out to me, give me a call, I'll give you a hand with it, because it is a different mindset. You need to kind of flick a switch when it comes to this, and teaching people to do that is very, very difficult. I've done it in my own brokerage, so we package as well. So we do a lot of education with brokers. And I just had this light bulb moment last year that whilst, yes, you've got your CMAP exams, you've got the commercial, the CPSP exam, there is nothing out there that actually teaches you to write these deals on the go. And we are talking about some very lovely procuration fees when it comes to unregulated loans. So the earning potential in it is massive. And like I said, this light bulb moment, I thought, do you know what? There needs to be something out there where it can educate and support brokers to write deals on the go. And that's where the Specialist Finance Academy was born. So it was launched in January. Was I ready? Absolutely not. It's one of these, you've probably heard, and I say this a lot, if you're going to start something, don't wait for perfection, just start messy and build it. So what I wanted to do back in January, because it's so unheard of, what we've been doing, is get the first cohort in and really listen to them, like where are their pain points, what can we help with, and build it out from there. And it's now been building throughout the year to where we are today, and it's still evolving all the time. There's still lots for us to do, but already seeing the impact on the members, their earnings have gone up and their confidence has gone up, and it's built a community. So yeah, that's kind of my background and how this has kind of evolved into now. But I love specialist finance. It's sad, but it's true.
Well, I think you're completely right. Like, I said I've been doing regulated for 20 years and set up an unreg arm last year, and it was just like, well, you've got your CMAP, you can go and do it. And I was like, but I've never done this side of the business, never done bridging, never done commercial. And then suddenly I'm learning all these acronyms and all these different words and this different terminology. And I'm like, I have no clue what any of this means. And yeah. I don't know, like you said, I don't know if the support's there generally for new starters in the industry as a whole, but specialist lending is so specialist, like this side of it, that it's even a bigger minefield, I think, to a degree. And like, sometimes these are big deals and you don't want to get them wrong. So
yeah.
So there's definitely a gap in this market, right, that I think you feel.
Yeah. And I think also it goes back to, we understand that there are networks that provide their own training. And it's typically like a broad overview, but breaking it down into micro bite-size increments, because our time is very important as brokers. There is a lot going on at the minute, whether you're regulated or you are specialist. So having that quick, easy access, or like we've got our WhatsApp community group so people can ask questions, and the lender group as well, that just gives them that additional support in the moment that they need it. That's where I think the true value lies.
Yeah, definitely. So do you want to talk us through like what it actually what it is, what it looks like, what people actually see? What does it give them?
Yeah, so so myself and George Stanford, George is one of my specialist brokers that joined me 4 years ago in my brokerage. We are now co-directors of this because it's become something so much more than I can handle, basically. But what it is, there's kind of three core pillars. We've got the community aspect. So we've got a WhatsApp group that is set up for asking questions, writing deals on the go just for us brokers. There's then a lender broker chat where they can ask questions on their deals. The BDMs will give them, guidance and say if they can do it or not. So there's that element, the WhatsApp community, and we do spotlights, wins of the week and stuff like that. And then we have the members area, and the members area is full of, and it's building out all the time. So it's broken down into core asset types. So you've got holiday lets, supported living, HMOs, development and bridging, all those things broken down. And we've got explanation documents, we've got jargon busters, loan calculators to help you, videos to talk you through it. So there's lots going on in the members area as well. We have something called Ad Event where it filters through. We run masterclasses. So the masterclasses they will cover a whole range of things, bridging for beginners. We've got creative finance strategies and how to write those types of deals. Also, how to find your ideal client. So it's one thing wanting to write more of these deals, and we've all heard how lovely the procuration fees can be. Finding those types of deals for some brokers is quite difficult. So we actually run masterclasses on social media and branding, how to reach those avatar clients. Every single masterclass is all recorded and uploaded to the members area. And for our pro members, they get discounts to, I don't know if anyone on here is using Sprift. We've got Knowledge Bank discounts for members. Just lots and lots of different things that are on their service providers that are offering our members discounts as well. And then we also run like a coffee chat once a month. So it was a live Q&A, but for some brokers, coming up with their pre-done questions and bringing it just felt a little bit corporate. So it's more like a drop-in session, talk about anything you're struggling with, and that's that one-to-one access with myself or George. So we can help to chat through some deals and things like that. So yeah, there's lots going on. There's like 2 masterclasses a month for our pro members. And we're going to be running in-person events as well to try and teach this stuff. So yeah.
That's your next thing, is it? That's the next step.
Oh, there's lots coming. Yeah, next in the pipe. Well, as an exclusive actually. So it's being announced next week in the press that we've actually combined and joined partnership with the London Institute of Financial, is it banking, the LIBF?
Yeah.
Banking and finance. So for pro members that join us, they sign up to a 6-month fast track program. They actually get access to the commercial finance exam, the specialist exam. So that is a partnership that's being announced next week. So our members can actually get a formal qualification from this. That's and really it's that add-on support to help them then write their deals.
Yeah.
So that is something very, very new. You ladies are the first to hear of that.
About that. You must be so excited.
There's a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot of eyes on the academy at the moment, and we're speaking to the right people. We're partnered with Knowledge Bank, so we're on there as a formal partner for their members as well. But it's giving something. We wanted to really give value back, and the qualification just gives someone that authority as well. So it ties in very nicely with what we're doing.
Yeah, that's great.
But we're also... Yeah,
I was going to say, I've obviously been in and had a look around, and I was just saying to you, I've been using it over the last few weeks since I've had access, and it's really helped me with like some terminology, knowing what questions to ask, like when you're speaking to these clients and doing these initial calls, because it is different questions and different technique than we would be using in regulated, and getting the right information up front, and then just knowing what lenders will do, because it's just not the same. So I have personally found it really beneficial to help me with kind of trying to transition into this part of the industry a little bit. I don't know if I want to do it fully, but I like dipping in and out. So
honestly, it gets easier the more you do it. I'm so glad you mentioned the questions, because what I wanted to say is that I'm just going to be very honest on this call. I mean, I'm going through the perimenopause at the minute. My brain is shot to bits. I've got my family, I'm running businesses. It can't handle loads of information. So this is why the academy is really important, because it's all about you don't need to have it all in your head. It's all about asking the right questions from the beginning and knowing where to go for those answers. That is what this is teaching you. And where I've come from the lending background, lenders don't want to be sent a load of gumph at the beginning of stuff that they do not need. They love the way that we do this at my brokerage, and they've actually said to us, they got really excited, a lot of the lenders, saying, will you be teaching your members to submit their inquiries like you do? And that's what we're trying to do, because it's when it makes sense once you know what questions to ask, what then to highlight to a lender. You've already cut out a load of times. Well, you've time saved loads, because exactly. Yeah. And that's what this is helping with. And the next stage from here with the academy is to take what is in here for me and George and to use AI and have it as an online broker on the members website, that we can actually, it's like that direct access to us, but we can talk through live deals as and when people are writing them to help them again. So there's, like I said, there's a lot going on at the minute.
Stuff happening.
Yes.
So what you've obviously had loads of positive feedback, I guess. I mean, I've got positive feedback. What about the first cohort? How did they find it? You said they've increased deals and...
Yeah, I mean, they got absolute exclusive. I mean, there'll be no one that can join for what they joined for in January, because we were building it from scratch and they've built with us. So they've been on this journey with us. And even the way that you've seen it now, Kate, give it another 2-3 months and the academy is just going to evolve and evolve. So the feedback has been great. Do you know what's actually been, and it is a problem still, when we go to the members and we give us constructive feedback, what can we do? Or even when we get new eyes on this, we always get positive feedback, which is great on one hand, but we're kind of looking for that constructive. There's always rooms for improvement, and making it as easy as possible. So we try and welcome as much constructive criticism as possible, because if it's not giving the value to the brokers, then there's no point in having it. So, but yeah, like I said, there's brokers, just hearing them now saying that they've gone into bridging, they're more confident writing bridging, and they've earned a significant more amount of money by doing so. But what I will say is that whilst there's a lot on there, you do still, it doesn't just magically happen. It's like investing in your own education. We can give you all of the information in the world with the goodwill, but it does take time to still get your head around stuff like this. But then that's what the WhatsApp community and everything's for. So if there's those questions and you don't have time to log on and do something, me and George are always, and our team are always at the end of the kind of conversation, just to kind of pitch in and give that additional support.
Right, excellent. So it feels like it's really going to change a little bit about industry wide, how the specialist world is kind of working and learning.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the whole evolving. At the minute, it's because it's so unknown. It's trying to talk to the networks, because it may be seen that it's similar to what kind of training that they've got. I know a lot of brokers, and I know that this is so different to what any of the networks are kind of currently offering. So for me at the minute, the priority is getting our foot in the door in the networks, because, we want to encourage more members into the academy, and it will only grow with the more members that we get. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But if anyone's got any contacts for any networks, please do let me know.
So what advice can you give to people looking to move into specialist lending?
It takes time. Don't chase the unicorn deals. They're out there for sure. And by unicorn deal, for anyone that knows what they are, but you hear of brokers earning 80,000 plus, even 50,000 plus on one deal. I know this, I write them, and they are possible, but they're not your bread and butter. Your bread and butter can be just your straight run of the mill HMOs, buy-to-lets, but even so, the average procuration fee at my brokerage sits at around £3,000 just from the procuration fee. That's just on our normal bread and butter. So, and then it's the broker fees charged on top. But I guess what I would say to anyone is that understand that it's a different mindset when you come to specialist finance. Don't be scared of it. You know, there is a lot of acronyms either in regulated or unregulated, but relationships are so super key when it comes to this. So what's really helped me in my brokerage is building those relationships from my lending days to bring into what we're doing now. What we're also hoping to offer members is those relationships and access to lenders that they may not have had access to before. So yeah, but I think just your confidence will build over time, I promise you.
Yeah.
And if you can do it the right way, because it's unregulated, there are some great brokers out there and some great packages, but there's equally some not very good ones. And because it's unregulated, they're allowed to trade in that way. But I would say always follow best practice, cover yourself. And yeah, I'm such a massive fan of specialist finance. And the thing is, it's something AI can't quite replicate. Its diversification is so important. So I think it's also very important for brokers to kind of be trying to diversify into this, because we don't know what the future is going to bring with AI and things like that. So specialist finance is I personally think, safer bet when it comes to that, because no one case is the same at all.
No, and I think there is a little bit of overlap with some of the stuff we do in our regulated space. We do a lot of exceptions outside of policy stuff, which feels a little bit similar to how I'd package an unregulated business like deal. And I think you're right. I think that's the stuff that isn't going to be impacted by AI at all. The stuff that we have to physically, really kind of find a way to big up the deal to the lender to get them to want to do it, make sure we're giving them the right information in the right order, explaining the case in detail. And that's something that AI just can't do, right? And it is about building those relationships with those BDMs, because you have good BDM relationships, they're going to help you push those deals through that they might not help someone else, and we know that all happens. And I feel like you're right, like that is basically every deal in specialist finance. So I can see why that side of it would be less at risk from AI than kind of, your vanilla regulated buy-to-let residential stuff.
Absolutely. And I think also as well, as women, I will say this, we do tend to hold ourselves back a little bit more if we don't know something, and if we don't feel ready, it's quite hard to make that transition for us women to go into new things and start something new. But I'm such a massive advocate. Like, you don't, like I keep saying, don't have to know everything. You can start messy. You learn as you go. Every broker has. And in specialist finance, it's no different. It's just, I'd love to see more women coming into the specialist finance space. There's not enough women in regulated mortgages. Unregulated, it's a completely different world. I think it's still about 25 years behind. So 100%.
It'd be great to see more women in that side of it, wouldn't it? 100%. So what if people wanted to, have a look, do a trial? Well, how does it work? What's the next steps if someone wanted to have a look at it?
Yeah, there's more information on the website, so specialistfinanceacademy.co.uk. I'm happy to give you a quick glance around at the minute if you want me to share my screen, but if not, you can go on and have a little look.
I think that'd be great. I think people would probably quite like to have a quick look, if that's all right with you.
It's not until you kind of see it that it would this would be just like the members area. This is me trying to technology. I'm just not very good with it. So okay. You
didn't build the website yourself then, Kim?
Absolutely not. Oh my God. You have an idea. I'm one of these people, you have an idea and you like run with it. I don't actually think about, all of the things that you then have to do. The members area blew my mind to begin with. So yes. Right. Let me just quickly show you then what the members area looks like. This is the pro version. So there's a core version. The core version is a lower price each month. So the Academy's been built so that it is accessible. You can join, you can leave. There's no minimum set period. We've got a core version that will be much more basic tools and resources. They don't get access to the members' WhatsApp community and the lenders chat. But they still get access to the like certain core masterclasses and recorded calls. They'll still get access to the coffee chats with myself or George. But I'll show you the pro members version. So this one is made up of 3 sections. So we've got our service providers section that when you click on it, it will say on the left-hand side who the service providers are. Each of them will be offering a discount to members. And when you click on categories, I think it will come up and show you those partners here of who've partnered with the Academy. And then if we go back a step, we've got the recorded calls. So when you click on recorded calls, it takes you through here and it will be broken down into recorded Q&As. They tend to be with myself. And then also any recorded calls that we've ever done in relation to, I mean, we spoke earlier, Katie, didn't we? We mentioned EBITDA for commercials. We've got like an EBITDA Unlocked masterclass so if anyone clicks on it, no one can miss a thing. It will run and it will give them the masterclass on that. There's Michael Mann from Alica Bank. So yes. And you can see on here as well. So there's an introduction to bridging finance. You've got a Knowledge Bank masterclass. So we use Knowledge Bank all the time when it comes to specialist finance. So Shane from Knowledge Bank did a masterclass on how to source these deals on there. Again, the foundations of a successful development finance inquiry. So it's all broken down on here, so no one can miss a thing. Like we said, I'm sure there's ladies that wanted to be on here today, but work catches up with us. So I'm sure that they can then watch this back later. Our academy works exactly the same way. And this is probably the one of most value to everyone. So this is the main core members area. I'll take off myself. So there's a welcome video there just showing people around. Here's our gold partners and our silver partners of lenders and service providers who have officially partnered with the Academy and supported it. We've got access to the WhatsApp community. So if someone clicks on that, it takes them straight to the community. And we've also got the events calendar, which will show upcoming masterclasses and Zoom calls, coffee chats and things like that. But the biggest value is here broken down on the left-hand side. This is the part that's evolving so much more. When I mentioned AI earlier, there will be some AI on here. So if you're stuck on a deal, you can literally access that and there'll be like a chatbot that's going to be coming soon. But yes, we've got main tools and resources, Jargon Buster, we've mentioned acronyms and things like that, rental stress tests explained, valuations explained, client fact finding, so asking the right questions. The Broker's Guide to Specialist Finance, I can email that out to anyone today anyway. That's like a free guide that we give to brokers that are looking to maybe get into specialist finance. But yeah, this is kind of all broken down into easy to read forms that you can read on the go. I mean, one of the biggest areas that our members wanted us to focus on at the beginning of the year was bridging finance. So within each section, it will have like the initial questions, whether it's a commercial purchase or a remortgage, of what you need to be asking right from the beginning. This is exactly how we work in my brokerage and how the lenders love us working, if I'm honest with you.
This is the bit that I loved when I was looking at it. Because I had my first bridging inquiry and I was like, I do not know where to start with this. And having those questions was just so helpful with having that initial conversation.
So good to hear. Love that. So yeah, there's a video talking you through the bits that this is the masterclass that I ran, but I was doing this to point out of these questions what things to highlight. So if clients coming back to you, what you need to look out for. So there's video walkthroughs and then also this kind of walking you through it here as well, all of the questions. But the video talks you through why you're asking these questions and, like I said, what to spot when they come back in. So that is for every single asset type on specialist finance lending. We break it down a little bit more for bridging. So you've got hints and tips, you've got bridging finance explained. So the bridging finance explained document, when you go into it all, it will be on here. It's an interactive document. You can download everything when you're in the academy. So if you want to save it to your system and come back to it later, you can do so. You just click on the download. But yeah, it's interactive. So if you're stuck on bridging loan valuations, for example, when you download the document, you click on that section, it takes you straight through to it. But yeah, it just talks you through layman's terms, what to be asking, what to look out for, and hints and tips and things like that. So that is in a nutshell what the academy is. So like I said, the 3 core pillars of like also the community chat and things like that as well. So yes, I don't know how I stopped sharing now. I think it's here.
Yeah.
I've got it.
No, well, I love it and I've been using it. So I can thoroughly recommend that. It is a really good resource and there is so much information in there. And, I'm grateful that you kind of decided, I'm running my own brokerage, but I want to help some other people. And I feel like, that's a really, great thing to have done. And not everybody would have done it. So, I think you should be proud of what you've built, and the vision and the reason behind that is just lovely. So
thank you
yeah.
very much. Yeah, I've now that it's coming, I can see it all forming the way it is. It's lovely to see, but also I'm a perfectionist. I see all the things I've still got to do with it. So yeah, hopefully it'll be like the go-to hub really for specialist finance brokers. But what I wanted to say today is that, we want to encourage more members into the academy. And for me personally, I am on a mission, like I said, with Women in Finance. So there is an exclusive discount for any lady that's part of the Women in Mortgages Facebook group for UK that we're offering a discount. So at the minute, the core pricing is set at £149 a month. The pro version is £249 a month. We are reducing that for Women in Mortgages by £50. So if someone joins the pro version, it will be £199. And if they join the core version, it will be £99 a month. Like I said, with the core, they've still got value, but there's no way near as much value as what you get from being a pro member. And if you want to see the difference, there's a table on the Specialist Finance Academy website for brokers where it shows you what you get as a core member, what you get as a pro member. And you'd also have the very first access to this CPSP exam. So that is a separate offer in itself. So like I said, that will be a 6-month pro membership. So that will be normally £249 a month, and you also get your CPSP exam paid for with that. For the Women in Mortgages, it will be £199 a month, and you also get the CPSP. So yeah, there'll be a 6-month kind of time period. We're calling it the fast track to success for specialist finance. So yeah, that's being launched next week.
I think anyone looking to move into specialist finance or develop their arm of specialist finance or just, build it, I think for me, I think it's so worth that investment, isn't it? Because like you said, the proc fees are great. So you're gonna, if you do one more, and we say it a lot, don't we? But you do one more case, you've more than covered the cost of that academy.
Exactly, and that's the whole point in this. And yes, you can upgrade from core to pro. Somebody's just asked a question, I think. Can you upgrade from core to pro? Yep, you can change it whenever you want. The only time period will be if you're signing up for the CPSP fast track. So the exam fast track, that's a 6-month period. You're automatically enrolled in pro for that, but you can start as a core member and increase to pro membership for sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. So, but sorry, Kate, you were saying something.
Yes, I was going to say there is another question in the chat, which is more kind of like actually deal specific. I don't know if you mind asking it, Kim. So a landlord buying at auction has one other buy-to-let property at 70% loan to value, so not other collateral. Would it be doable? I'm not sure if there's enough info there. But
so yeah, obviously very, very high level. Give us a case from beginning to completion. A landlord buying at auction has one other buy-to-let property. So we're talking more that he doesn't have the deposit here, right? Yeah, you can, like with anything, you can only borrow up to 75% typically if a bridging lender is going to take that as additional security. So that wouldn't be worth doing. They would need their own deposit. This is where I love specialist finance, because there are bridging lenders that will work. So there's a lot of clients that are now applying for private investor finance. Bridging lenders can accept that. Again, it goes back to the questions that are asked at the beginning. So it doesn't mean the deposit monies have to come from themselves. They have to have an element of hurt money in there. So whether that is them then covering the costs of a refurb. But yeah, any scenario like that, it doesn't mean it's dead in the water, but those conversations we'd have with clients to say, can you use private financing to allow you to be able to do this? So yeah, I hope that answers it in a way. Yeah, no, Lucy, there's no such thing as a silly question. The other thing that we're building out within the Academy, Kate, you wouldn't have seen this yet. We've got a case study template that we are going to be adding so many case studies to that will teach brokers basically from real life cases that myself and George are working on, how we've sourced the deal, what was the deal, who did it go to and why, and how we sourced it. It's going to be giving you all the information so you can follow the path of how we quote. So we're going to be adding case studies all the time, Lucia. So I hope that helps in relation to that instance. Do you have more detail about the CPSP exam? So you can actually go under, they're not called the London Institute of Financial Banking. They recently just merged.
No, they have changed their name, haven't they?
Under Walbrook or something.
Yeah.
What I can do, Kate, I don't know if you have access to anyone that's been on the call. Let me just see CPSP exam. It is a completely, so the exam itself is nothing to do with the academy. We don't run it. It's basically a self-taught program, but it's the specialist finance equivalent to CMAP.
Yeah.
So you still get the qualification. And has anyone on here sat the CPSP exam, or do we know? No.
I've paid to sit it.
I haven't sat it, but I am studying it.
Same as me.
Okay. There we go. So yeah, I mean, if you go under Walbrook Institution London, what I will do, let me add this to I'll put the CPSB on there. I'll add it to the chat in a second. Here we go, got it here. Somebody else hasn't already. But yeah, it's the equivalent to CMAP. So yeah, and this is where it ties in with the academy. So that is teaching you about specialist finance, what our core mission is to help you write deals on the go that isn't going to make you sit through a 3-hour video, like Zoom call to try and pick out certain bits. That's what we're trying to do. So yeah, no, the CPSP, we've had really good feedback on the CPSP. George is currently sitting it because just obviously to go through that whilst we're offering it to members. So you do get a qualification by doing that.
And I think really, like you said, particularly for women, I think having that qualification sitting behind you just will make you feel more confident when you're talking to clients that you've done this qualification, you do know what you're talking about. So, we've coupled with having the academy there to help you with those bits that you're still not quite sure of, or you might have forgotten because there's so much to remember. So I feel like, it just I like to know what I'm talking about. I can wing it a fair bit, but when it comes to something like when they start asking me questions about bridging and I'm like, I like to know. So I feel like having that information, having that exam behind you really does make a difference.
Well, for example, as well, I mean, the core version, George is actually running a beginner's masterclass to bridging from a broker's perspective next Friday. So I know that is also in there. So we're trying to, it's not just for newbies, the academy either, it's to teach standards to obviously in the unregulated space, but it builds on that community. So going back to what you were just saying there, Kate, when you're on the call or you're feeling a bit flustered because you're not too sure on something, that's what the community chat is also there for, to get very quick answers from experienced individuals that can help you to navigate those kinds of situations. So yeah.
There's another question on here. It says, sorry if I missed this, but do you enroll at certain times of the year, or do you take new people throughout the year?
So from our point of view, the Specialist Finance Academy is open all the time. I didn't really want to have something that was kind of, you've got to go on the wait list and wait to join. If brokers are ready now, absolutely, they can join whenever. So the doors don't close or anything like that. There's no hard sale. You can come and go as you choose.
Rebecca, did you have a question?
Yes, I thought it was easier just to say it than type it. Sorry if I missed this because my internet kept falling in and out at the start. I am so new to being a broker. I've only been doing it a couple of months. And obviously this sounds brilliant and I'm super excited about it. But I'm kind of wondering where it'd fit within my career, as in if I was, because my husband is a property developer. So I'm kind of like, this is quite interesting, could kind of get into that. But where would you say, is this something I could look at going down, or do you think I should kind of stick with my mortgages for now, get confident with that and then look at it, or what would you suggest?
It's a good question, isn't it? Am I right in saying that you am I right in saying that you write mainly regulated residential at the moment?
Yeah, but like I say, I'm really new, only a couple of months in.
And so are you self-employed or employed or?
Self-employed, yeah.
Okay. Hey, I'd love your take on this because I've never written regulated mortgages. So I can only imagine learning that space at the moment for you, Rebecca. Firstly, congratulations as well. And then also learning the specialist side. On one hand, I think if you can, do you hone one skill first? Kate, that's why I'd love your impression on this. Or do you?
Yeah, this was my question because I'm kind of thinking like, do I need to be confident in the residential side before I can do the specialist side, or is it a case of like choose one?
I kind of feel like they are fairly separate. So I kind of feel like it depends on how much you feel you could take in at a time, right? Because I feel like they aren't the same thing. So I think just because I have been doing regulated for 20 years, I still don't have a clue about specialist. Like it's helped me a bit with some knowledge, like the HMO and the buy-to-let stuff, fine, because we do that anyway in the regulated side. But the commercial stuff and the bridging stuff, I know some of it. I recognise the lenders. I know some of the terminology, but really it is so different that it's helped. There's not a huge amount that you can take.
So they are different things, so they are really.
Okay. So I feel like you could just do both. You could decide to carry on as you are for a while, but I don't think carrying on and honing that is going to necessarily help you to then jump
with
to
this. Oh, okay. Yeah.
If you see what I mean.
Yeah,
I have found them. And I'll be honest, when I set up my commercial arm, I was like, oh, this will be fine. I do complex stuff all the time. We do exceptions with the high street lenders. I write proposals. I have BDM relationships. It's going to be a breeze for me. And it was not. It has not been. It is a completely different world. It's a completely different style of doing business. The clients are different types of clients, and it has been really eye-opening to me to go, wow, actually this is really tough. And I was probably a bit arrogant and naive about how easy I thought it would just be for me to just start doing it,
because you've got lots of experience
much experience on the other side, and honestly it's been like starting from scratch.
Hey, what did you find? What's been the biggest hurdle for you?
Just kind of, I think, do you know what? Writing the proposals has been really tough. Trying to make sure I get all the information down in the right way so that it actually makes sense, I think has been quite hard to do. I think we are so used to having a sourcing system that not having that just blows my mind. Like, that, and I think that, and then so then knowing where to start. Like, so even if I've managed to write this proposal, okay, now what do I do with it? Like, who do I go to? Like, that bit has just been such a steep learning curve of what do I actually do with this deal now I've got it? Like, who do I even approach? How does this work? I think that's been like the biggest learning curve, and I'm still learning because I don't do it enough and I feel like, Rebecca, probably you need to dip your toe in a bit both sides and then maybe focus, because I think, like Kim says, she doesn't do regulated. I don't really do unregulated. So I think trying to do both is an awful lot of information and knowledge.
And that's what I was kind of getting at when I asked you. It's just because of quite a lot of the clients that I've already turned away, if you like, or referred on, have been kind of commercial and bridging and things like that. And I'm thinking, well, I live in that kind of world where I'm seeing those sort of clients, so I'm wondering if it's like, should I kind of go down that avenue or this one?
That was going to be my next thing, Rebecca, because if it sounds like you've naturally got an access to, it's one thing choosing to write unregulated, it's then finding those investors. And it's a cutthroat industry out there. And these investors are going to multiple, and you probably find it on the reg side anyway, maybe, but not quite as much. But if you've got access to that, and it would be interesting, it could be a good time, like Kate said, to dip your toe into both and see, because it could end up taking you so you actually write more unregulated than you do regulated when you start looking into it. But it sounds like you've got a good opportunity there to do so.
Thank you.
Beverly's made a really good point in the chat. She said that you could refer to Vibe initially until you feel more confident. While you're building up and using the academy. The other thing I'd obviously mention is check your network, like your actual regulation is correct to be able to do the unreg stuff, because not all, if you're regulated through a regulated network for regulated business, they might not allow you to do unreg. So you might need to check the kind of FCA regulation that you've got in place, or look at whether the network will allow you to set up a separate arm, because that's what I've done. So I'm regulated under 2 different networks, one for specialist, one for regulated mortgages, but they have to both be happy that they were both happy for me to do that. So that's the other thing to kind of double check. But yeah, I think it's for me, although it's been a steep learning curve, it is fun, like, because they are tricky cases, right? So getting them agreed is fun work. So it's
I was going to say, have you ever used Brickflow? And because I knew you said about sourcing systems, because I write bridging and commercial, but I do mainly bridging, and I use Brickflow, but I use it as research and then keep it in the background. And then I just tend to know which lenders that I'm going to use for which deals anyway. So I just go to them, but I just keep it for a compliancy type thing. So I just didn't know, because people were saying there is no sourcing system, but there actually is a sourcing system, but people just not use it because it's not that great, or people's thoughts around it really. Because I'm signed up to it, but like I said, I'm literally doing the research, putting it on file and just keeping it for compliance.
It's a great point to have. So Brickflow, one of our partners of the Academy, they offer discounts to our members. When it comes to bridging, yeah, you're right. So there isn't really sourcing systems other than systems like this. At my brokerage, I'll be honest with you, we don't use a sourcing system for bridging. That's the years of experience that we have. We have got a trusted bridging panel that we would go to depending on the scenario. So we do a lot of manual sourcing in relation to bridging. We know who to go to. Brickflow is great for newbie brokers, I would want to say, or brokers that want to save their time and just get terms there and then. So it really does come down to the type of brokerage or broker that you are and how you want to run. But yeah, like we source manually on bridging all day long because, like I said, we do it day in, day out. But Brickflow is a great tool if you're new to bridging to give you that access, and it will also speak directly to the lenders as well. So if you don't have those relationships, then it can help as well. But it's a great point.
No, that's good. I'm glad you said that, because I find I just got those relationships with lenders, so I go to them. Basically, I used to do it self-employed under another network, and then I set up my own brokerage and then got an unreg arm, which now I just go direct to lender rather than being under any network. So I've always got those relationships with lenders, so I tend to know which ones. It was more for the compliancy side. I thought, do you know what, I'll sign up to it just because I'm not under a network, so I've got some kind of compliance and background for research. But I just wanted to know other people's thoughts, because I don't know anyone else that uses it, and I kind of use it, but don't really use it. I just use it for research. Yeah. So I didn't know if it was me kind of not using it to its full potential.
I'll be honest, I didn't know it existed. So that's something for me to probably look at if I as well. If it will help newbies.
Yeah, I did find it as a good starting point to just like I look at it and see if there's anything worthwhile on there, and then I just kind of go to who I bought anyway. But yeah, I just wanted other opinions really on it and if other people used it.
I think as well, so if you are a regulated broker and you have got that compliance side that you still need to satisfy, whether it's reg or unreg, I totally understand and appreciate that. For me, my brokerage is directly authorised. We don't need to do that for the compliance side because it's unregulated, and we have the comparison from when we go out manually to those lenders. That's enough. But I totally understand your need to save that still somewhere for compliance purposes. It's a juggling act, like Kate mentioned. What's your network's requirements, and having to satisfy that at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. Kim, I thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about the Academy. I've already said to you that I love it. So I really appreciate you coming on, talking to the members, and I really appreciate the deal that you've done for them. And we will get this recording out and get that deal live, and hopefully we can help some more women move into specialist finance.
I've literally just very quickly, thank you so much for having me. I'm adding the discount codes for the women in mortgages.
Oh, lovely, thank you.
Please just know that if you're looking for the CPSP offering for the 6 months, that won't be available until next week. I can put something on the Women in Mortgages Facebook group. Great. But if you just want to touch your foot in, if you were interested in the Pro or the Core version, I've just added those. So the WIM-monthly, so Women in Mortgages monthly, that will be, there's a monthly or an annual subscription. You just put that code in and you'll get the exclusive access to the discounts if you wanted to join.
Lovely, thank you so much. Thanks to everybody coming on. I hope you found it helpful, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Kate.
Thank you.